Hey everyone, it's Short Fiction Friday. This week I read 4 short stories: Black Magic by Sax Rohmer, Eyewitness by Robert Arthur, The Dilemma of Grampa Dubois by Clayre and Michel Lipman, and Refrigerator Heaven by David J. Schow. Alright, first up I'll talk about Black Magic by Sax Rohmer. Black Magic first appeared in Collier's magazine, February 5th, 1938. This was the story I was most looking forward to, but it's also the story that disappointed me the most. I knew that was a possibility. These are maybe pulpy, dated kind of stories, but we'll see. I will give them a few more chances at least. Okay, one of the big problems with this is that we're introduced to so many different characters in just the first 2 paragraphs of the story. Now, maybe these were reoccurring characters. Longtime readers of Sax Rohmer maybe knew who everyone was, but me, as a first-time reader, it was very confusing to start off with. So here's all the characters we get in the first 2 paragraphs. We've got Maurice Roeder, who's our point of view character. We have Bazarada, aka Buzzy, and he's like a good magician character. We have Dr. Sarafan, also known as Servius Jerome, who is an evil black magic sorcerer and criminal. We have Ned W. Reagan, who has a warrant for Jerome's arrest, but seems to be held up at the moment. There's Mary Coppinger, who's been hypnotized by Jerome. She's kind of under his spell and will be marrying him. And lastly, there's Mark Coppinger, who's Mary's father and might pay a ransom to get her back from Servius Jerome. Okay, did you get all that? There's also some characters that are mentioned in the first 2 paragraphs. LaRue and Mrs. Burton Duggan, who are mentioned but then never come back into the story. So yeah, kind of a confusing beginning. Too busy, too many characters. But from there, it becomes a lot easier to follow. It sort of proceeds exactly as you would expect. It's a pulpy adventure with Maurice and Bazarada kind of adventuring around Servius Jerome's castle, trying to find Mary Coppinger. It had a pretty unsatisfying ending. Our point of view character, Maurice, didn't even really see what happened. All the important stuff where Buzzy and Servius fought each other, that kind of just happens while we're not present. It's got this very hand-wavy aspect to it of, well, you know, magic sorted everything out, which is a little bit unsatisfying to me. Okay, the next thing I read was Eyewitness by Robert Arthur. This story first appeared in Detective Fiction Weekly, January 28th, 1939. The story of this is much simpler. We have Davis, who's a cop, and Master, and I guess that's his stage name. And Master is like a genius magician and sleuth, and Davis goes to him for some help. What's the case Davis needs help with? He's investigating Harold Murney. All the cops kind of know that Murney has murdered his wife. He's got the motive, he's got the opportunity, but there's no real concrete evidence, and they haven't been able to find the body yet. So the investigation is kind of at a dead end. And Master suggests that they lie to Harold Murney and say that they have an eyewitness. This eyewitness supposedly knows where the body is buried. They're planting seeds of doubt into Harold Murney's head. This had a really nice, dreary, atmospheric start. I really like the setup of the plot. But then it gets to kind of a pop psychology ending, which is a little bit too neat. But overall, this was good. All right, next up, another one that I read in Alfred Hitchcock's Spellbinders in Suspense. It's The Dilemma of Grampa Dubois by Clayre and Michel Lipman. And this was actually difficult to find where this was first published. Apparently, it's from an issue of the American Family magazine from 1952. This is a short, humorous story. Grampa Dubois, so the title character, he's a very skilled man, and the idea is that he could counterfeit money if he wanted to. But at heart, he's kind of an honest man, except when his granddaughter, Annette, really, really wants a new piano. So Grampa Dubois thinks, well, just this once, and he's going to counterfeit a single $1,000 banknote. And the story goes from there. Basically, the joke is that he can't spend this $1,000 note. Everyone sees the notes themselves with some suspicion. Of course, as I explain it, it doesn't sound very funny, but this is a humorous story with a good punchline at the end, and it didn't overstay its welcome. It's a short, punchy 6 pages. Yeah, this was really good. All right, the last one I read this week was Refrigerator Heaven by David J. Schow, which first appeared in Dark Love, of course. We have just a few important characters here. There's Garrett, who is being tortured, and there's the characters Donnelly and Cambro, and they are the torturers. This story has kind of science fiction elements to it. The torture device they have is like a big white box. That's the refrigerator of the title. You put people inside, they see a blinding flash of white light and noises, and it tortures you and makes you go crazy. So most of the story is just going through Garrett's inner thoughts, and then sometimes it switches to Donnelly and Cambro. And while they're the torturers, this machine's basically automated. It does all the torturing for them. So they're more like technicians. They're just kind of sitting there watching the machine, watching the clock. Everything's done for them. So they're quite passive, in a sense. This story is told in quite a fragmented style. You're jumping around different points of view. That kind of annoyed me at the start of the story, but at the end, everything fit together. So yeah, this was another good story. These were all good stories this week, aside from Sax Rohmer, which I would say was middling, just kind of okay. All right, and to rank the stories, I'll put them into my big list, the top 15. The only one that will make it this week is The Dilemma of Grampa Dubois by Clayre and Michel Lipman. And I'm going to put that as number 12 on the list. So just underneath the birds. All right, let's pick the stories for next week. The way this works is very simple. This is book 1 through to book 6 here. The 6-sided die will select the book. The 12-sided die will select the story within the book. All right, first roll. Three and 7. So we're reading Alfred Hitchcock's Spellbinders in Suspense. I've picked every story in here except for one, so I can't pick the 7th story. As you can see, there's a lot of pencil marks there. That's all the stories I've read. The only one left is Puzzle for Poppy by Patrick Quentin, and that's 14 pages. All right, the Alfred Hitchcock anthology has been eliminated. Obviously, I knew that would happen, but I didn't think it would happen so quickly. So the way this is going to work now is a little bit more convoluted. Let's make this both 5 and 6. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to keep rolling until I get to 50 pages or more. Okay, second roll. 6 and 11. So that's Dark Love. Okay, so I'm skipping over all the ones with pencil marks next to them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Next page. 9, 10, 11. We're reading Nancy A. Collins, Thin Walls. And that's 16 pages long, which takes us to 30 pages total. Okay, third roll. 2 and 1. So that's the War Book. We're reading The Price by Algis Budrys, and that's only 4 pages long. So we're at 34 pages total now. All right, fourth roll. 6 and 8. Dark Love again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're reading Michael Blumlein, Hymenoptera, and it is 11 pages long. Okay, we're at 45 pages so far. Fifth roll. 1 and 3. It's the Westerns. Well, there isn't 3 stories left here, so I'll go to the second one. That's the Owen Wister story, which is 26 pages long. Okay, we're reading Happy Teeth by Owen Wister, and that takes us well over 50 pages. Those are the 5 stories I'll be reading for next week. I'll put the list up on the screen here. Go read these stories if you have access to them. I think I'm most looking forward to Algis Budrys. I'm not sure why. I think I just like his name. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you all next week. Bye.